Well, I've dug myself the biggest hole I've ever been in with this twin-turbo Lamborghini Gallardo that I bought for $25,000. They said burn damage is not that bad. Yeah, I don't know why they lied to me. Unfortunately, Copart doesn't take any returns, so I'm stuck with this burnt Lamborghini Gallardo for $25,000. But you know what? I want to challenge myself and rebuild it. Now, the question is that even possible? And how bad is it? This Gallardo was on Copart with a buy it now price for $29,950. And I thought that was a bit much since, well, there isn't much of it left. But then I took a closer look and saw this. Those are turbos, and they do not come from the factory on this car. The cheapest twin turbo kit for one of these Lambos is $35,000. So I waited for the auction day and won the car for a lot cheaper than the buy it now price. But once the car came home, I started having second thoughts about my purchase. Now even me, with all the confidence I have to rebuild this Lamborghini Gallardo, I'm scared. There's many questions that come up with the rebuild that may potentially put this thing to a halt. Although I'm gonna fight through all of them, but questions like, is this frame structurally compromised to a point where even if I get a donor car, this thing can't be repaired? Now in this episode, we're gonna answer a very important question. How bad is it? You see, a project like this is kind of like a no stone left unturned. There's everything we have to deal with. Bodywork, wiring, engine, interior, transmission. There's literally every single check mark gets checked with this rebuild. This is gonna be one for the books, for sure. Now, the first thing I have to do, I think, and get me a little bit at peace, is to try and turn this motor over with my hand. I don't even know where the accessory belt is, honestly, because it's not up here. So I'm assuming it's back here. Now, back here is not much room, so I'm hoping that if we get under the vehicle, we have a little bit of access over there to get what we need to get done. I want to give a massive shout out to the first person that donated to this build and is a part of this build. With that, he is entered to have a track experience with us and the team once this thing is fully rebuilt. So Marcus, I'm sorry Marcus, I don't know how to say your last name, but I can spell it out here exactly how it's written. I'll try. Suterinen. Marcus Suterinen. Number one donator. Number one. Shout out Marcus. Also, shout out to Robert Lucian. He is the biggest donator so far at $50. Anything over $20, you are entered to have a track experience with us once this thing is rebuilt. So guys, there's a link down below. Don't forget to click that link. Donate, feel free, be part of this build, have your name plastered on this entire thing, and possibly have a good track experience. Now, let's go ahead and write everyone's name down. Robert Lucian, 50 bucks. Look at that. How much screwy this is. Alright, let's see how good I am with this basketball moves. Getting back on track, our main priority right now is to see if this $25,000 overpriced Audi engine turns over. This may be a turning point to this whole rebuild. I took a good look under the vehicle and it looked pretty good, except for this. A little bit of bad news, and I hate bad news when I already have such a big project, but whoever opened up the hole on top of the transmission kind of caused me to have a lot more headache because now I have to split the transmission and split all the components inside there, because look at that. Look at that. Nice and rusty. Now the starter is hooked up to right over here, so I'm assuming it spins the flywheel here. That's what starts the motor. Now I want to turn over this motor, and I did find the accessory belt right here. But what sucks is there's no big nut or anything on this pulley here where I can actually grab a big wrench and turn it. So what I have to do is I'm thinking to either hot wire this to try and start it, which is probably not the best idea, or possibly take this off and manually try to, turn it over with a flathead of some sort. But I don't think either of those two options are gonna do it. Now, I may try to hot start this, but I'm scared I'm gonna burn this starter because everything in here is completely seized. Look at that.
Yo, what are you doing?
You think what I'm thinking?
No.
How much worse can it get? I wanna go ahead and jump that starter. I don't think it's gonna get much worse, so let's see. I am freaked out, bro. I don't know. What the heck? I'm about to catch on fire again. Okay. I heard something, bro. Yeah, is this moving inside here? Oh, it did move inside here.
No,
it moved, yeah, listen. It's turning the motor. Listen, listen. Oh, fuck. It's turning it.
Yeah, it's turning.
It's on fire.
Bro's gonna fry the R7.
Yeah.
Chill out, trying to start it?
Yeah, bro. It's turning. It's turning, that's for sure. Now, let me show you guys those holes again. Remember they're all rusty? Give me the camera. The motor turned over. That means almost nothing. Remember inside these holes, it was all fully rusty. Now, it's still rusty, but you can see there was some sort of movement. You see now it's not all fully rusty. Let's see if I put the camera right here and give it one more crank and see if these actually move inside here, or am I just being over optimistic? All right, 3, 2, 1. Yes, what a relief. Honestly, that's literally a $25,000 motor. Now, obviously with it burned and this like that, I could probably get like $15,000 for it, which means that we've recouped some value. Number one off the list is done. Motor has officially spun, so we're good on that. Now, I want to get to this part right here. What twin turbo kit is that? That way we can kind of guesstimate a horsepower roughness. Maybe it's 1,000, maybe it's 2,000. I have no idea. Maybe if we find out what kind of kit it is, we get a better idea of what's in there, you know? Unfortunately, I have not yet found the original owner from this vehicle, so I don't know what kind of anything about this car. Now, I have a couple of connections that are maybe tied in with the old owner. I'm not sure. A couple of shops that I've seen this car at. So I'm trying to get the old owner, but I don't know just yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at every single part that is on this vehicle and see if I can find any names, and then see if I can piece that together for a kit. Like, is there a kit that sells precision turbos, you know, whatever, Hefner, this and that, piece it together. Maybe we find something, but for now, let's get looking. A burnt, damaged car is a very interesting challenge. You see, on a damaged car, you can find most of the part numbers to the parts you need, but on a burnt damaged, good luck. As I was tearing apart the car piece by piece to find any part numbers or brand names, Danny was removing the remaining parts of the quarter panel. Luckily, on most supercars, the quarter panel is mostly on bolts and rivets, maybe some welding. If so, very little. So interesting, the quarter panel screws are like sharp pointed like that. Interesting. As Danny kept grinding and chiseling away at the quarter panel, I was looking all around the car to see if I can find any hints that would lead me to understand what kind of turbo kit is this and how much horsepower are we really pushing. I guess this thing was so fast that even a mice took a little crap in here, but it's pretty disgusting. I have no idea what this is. It may be like a completely stock part, but it just doesn't look stock. We'll go ahead and remove this tub, see if we find anything interesting in there. Maybe we have NOS or a meth kit or something that's hiding right there. thing is extremely heavy. And I'm not sure what's holding it. And this is extremely, extremely tight, but I just got it cracked loose. So, let's see what's in it. It's already wet. Look at that. I literally just, as soon as I open it, it started pouring out.
What is it?
It smells like windshield washer fluid. Look at it, it's dripping. It's windshield washer fluid. I literally thought it was a meth kit. Like, who designs a cap like this? Look at this.
That's not stock.
You think that's not stock?
No, there's no way.
It might be stock. Literally, like, I mean, look at that. There's no way you're gonna integrate this thing into here if it's not stock. That just looks dumb. But the thing is, what's weird is I saw this. That's why I was like, okay, windshield washer fluid goes here. So what is this? Is this like headlight washer fluid? Is this something different?
Blinker.
Blinker fluid. You're right. No, dumb. My dad always told me the Lamborghinis have blinker fluid.
Hey, how's it going, bro?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good.
So look at this.
Okay.
That's the ECU on that side. And then on this side, there's nothing here.
They pulled the ECU out. Look at the plug. You see that plug? It's missing the
This one?
computer on that side? Yeah.
No, it's plugged in at the bottom.
It is plugged in on the bottom.
Yeah, so it might be right here. ECU might be right there. Hang on. Give me a second.
Yeah. So it's Cyvex they're running.
So is that a good ECU?
Yeah, that's like 18 G's right there.
$18,000?
Yeah.
For what, the ACU?
For the ECU tuning and everything, yeah. If you go on Cyvex ECU, hopefully it's not damaged. If it's not damaged, you're really lucky.
It looks fine. Video call ended. He just said $18K for a Cyvex ECU. Cyvex S12 plug-and-play ECU Gallardo. Or Gallardo. Look at that. It looks pretty similar to mine, yeah?
That's the one.
It's got them little ripples. Good deal you got. Okay. S12 is a top-of-the-range engine control unit designed to withstand some of the toughest of condition. To run a V12. Wow, okay. The thing is, what sucks is I don't really know anything about tuning. So it's like, this is not just like a off-the-shelf, drop a tune and you're good. This is like custom tuning, standalone ECUs, and all this extra stuff that just sounds smart. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But yeah, let's continue figuring this out. Look at this. The wire harness to the ECU looks to be all good, and it didn't really catch fire much over here. I'm hoping this ECU is still good because, as you guys saw, it's $12,000 for this piece. So I'm hoping it didn't get ruined. Okay, remember we were asking what this was? We're like, what is this, extra fuse boxes or something? But you see, the kit has this because the plug-and-play kit, so you plug it into the factory ECUs. I think the factory ECU goes there and here. This kit plugs into both the ECUs and then plugs into one Cyvex unit, which is $14,000. It's a plug-and-play kit, and it looks like it's got no damage on it. You see, it seems to be perfect shape. Wow. Well, there's 1% of our Lamborghini figured out. So the guy that I'm talking to, shout out to CCR Exotics on Instagram, this guy here, he is absolutely helping me out. He's literally telling me every single thing about this car, and he said that this thing has some massive power, at least 1500, which is absolutely insane. I still don't know what kind of kit this is, but this is getting me really excited. Can't wait to feel power. Beyond excited from the news that I just found out that this thing can possibly have over 1,200 wheel horsepower is just insane. I had Danny go ahead and remove the rest of the rocker panel because we wanted to cut off the quarter panel. We wanted to take the quarter panel fully off, but thought about it and we're like, hey, we might as well have the door closed, so we just sliced the quarter panel right on that B-pillar area right there. Now that, my friends, is how you take off a Gallardo quarter panel. Got a little toasty up in here. The question still remains, what turbo kit do we have? I did notice a aftermarket fuel rail, which is a good sign because that means we are possibly pushing a lot of horsepower. But it also is a bad sign because I'm gonna have to be spending a lot more money to get this thing back to how it was before it got burned. Now while I was removing the engine harness, Danny went ahead and removed my fuel rail. Once that was off, I did notice the aftermarket fuel rail and aftermarket injectors, which is a good sign, like I said, because we are pushing a lot of power. After that was done, I went ahead and tried to take off the subframe to reveal and see more of the engine, to see to what extent the fire actually went and how many components do we have to change in order to get this thing back to its former glory. Wow, now that that piece is off, we revealed a lot more of the engine, which we're probably gonna pull this engine out in the next episode. But dude, everything up here was in flames. It's nice and toasty. Woo! Don't even know how I'm gonna assemble this. The thing is, I'm gonna get a wire harness for the engine, a wire harness for the body, and then I need to get a wire harness for this aftermarket Civic, what's it called? ECU and then turbo and everything. So this is trippy. I'm even thinking to do a manual swap because I want to go all out. I want to go wide body, twin turbo, manual. That'd be. We go back to the drawing board. Now, I've found a couple of key components to this turbo kit. And honestly, I don't think it's a kit, but maybe you guys know better than me. Turbo. Turbo is a precision turbo, which is that part number. That's the size of it, and that's the price of each of them, roughly. So $4,000 for 2 turbos, just the turbos. I'm not talking about the kit, the lines, anything like that. Now, the ECU is an absolute beauty. It's a Civex ECU, which costs $13,000, I think, for the kit, which doesn't come with a lot of kits. It comes with that wire harness that I showed you guys, where I'm gonna ask Civex if they can send me a wire kit because it plugs into the factory wire harness, so it's a plug and play kit. $13,000! And it's safe, thank God. Now, the fuel rail, we have a 4 fuel rail, starts at $650. You gotta email them to actually get the price of it. Injectors are ID 1050cc XDS injectors, about $1,300 for the set. Exhaust and the air-to-water intercooler, I don't know what brand they are. The air-to-water intercooler is still good. I can just knock that thing down and powder coat it. Now, the exhaust is cut, but if I want to go the cheap route, I can re-weld it back together, it'll be fine. Although I think we're gonna get something funny and cool with the exhaust. So add all these up, it's gonna be a grand total of ka-chow on the screen because I'm not that good at math that quick. So next, the question is, how bad is the damage? We've figured this one out, let's go to that one. You see, I'm trying to pull this seat out right here, but unfortunately the seat is pushed forward, blocking the front bolts, and obviously it don't work. But life is roadblocks. Don't let nothing stop you, because we ain't stopping. See this? Little 20-volt DeWalt. Look at that. Bolts right there. There you go. Shout out DJ Khaled. Thanks for the haircut. Oh, that's damp. That is all damp, bro. Look at that. They definitely spray this thing with water. Now, to get a better understanding of how bad the damage was, we needed to tear apart the interior. The more we tear apart, the more we see how deep the fire damage went. Civex, look at that Civex, see? Civex. Some aftermarket cable. I guess this is the tuning cable for the Civex. But removing the passenger side, where the main interior fire was on the passenger side. It's actually all nice and clean under here. The main damage was right here, which kind of sucks, so I have to replace all of this jazz. but the floor and everything seems pretty good, and the interior, like the harness, this is all good. Everything's good. Like, you know, maybe if I get a cutoff, say I get a cutoff of a harness here, rewire inside here, and then just run that, because everything else up front should be totally fine, which I don't know 100%, but let's go ahead and continue pulling apart the interior to really see how bad is the damage on the car. Heavy boy. Gotta be really careful with the brand new interior. Is there someone holding it? It's not a regular seatbelt, right? It's just a freaking one? Man, I don't know. Since this interior got torn out of here, it looks a lot better. It's almost not as scary, not near as scary as when we just got it. But I do have good, bad, and great news. We're gonna start off with the bad news. The bad news is that the fire started from the interior because this guy had a 7-Eleven USB adapter here. Just kidding. The bad news is pretty bad. I honestly didn't think that the wire harness on the interior got affected at all. I didn't see the passenger side that well from the pictures, and it's pretty unfortunate that we have the wire damage inside here, which is kind of annoying because, first of all, the Civex wire harness got affected. See this piece here? It's supposed to look something like this, which I think used to be a old ECU connection, but since this has a Civex ECU, they have a wire harness that deletes one. I think so, at least. But this is a Civex cable. You guys can see by that part right over there. That's pretty bad news. Not horrible, but pretty bad, because we're gonna have to get, obviously, relays and stuff like that. Now, the horrible news is that this piece back here, I consider it the firewall, because it's kind of what separates the driver from the engine. This piece is $4,500. It's extremely expensive, and I hope they sell it in assembly. But as for the bad news, we're pretty wrapped up right over there. Now, the question we're answering is, how bad is the damage? This is where we get into the good part. The good part is all the damage that you see on the car, for the most part, is bolt on and bolt off. Wait, bolt off and bolt on. You see, the only thing that needs to be cut is the quarter panel. Everything else back here is on bolts. It's only inside the door jamb. Everything else is basically take off the clamp or change the wire or change the wire harness or whatever it is. Point is, it's all buyable and it's all doable. Now, what I mean by that is I have no structural damage. Like, imagine, you know, the frame on that side over there was just completely melted. Now I'd have to change structure. Or imagine a severe accident where the car got wrecked right over here and the whole thing is a banana. That's pretty bad. On a scale, I would say this is about a 7.5, 8 out of 10 difficulty repair for me. So that's pretty good. Now the great news. Is it realistic to repair? Let's see. You see these Lambo parts guesstimate? All these parts you see here, for the most part, I saw them on eBay. So this is gonna be blowing your mind a little bit right now. The body, door, $2,500 quarter, 3.5, rocker panel, $350, engine lid, $6,000 for that piece. Roof, $3,000, the convertible top, upper bumper trim is $300, rear panel interior, I put $3,000, but it's about $4,000. I just think I can find a better deal. Rear engine heat shield is $1,000. Taillights, I couldn't find a single taillight for sale, so that's a question mark over there. All that added up to $19,650. Interior, we guesstimated $5,000. That includes both seats, all the panels, carpets, and stuff like that. So that's pretty fair for that. Now, the body harness for the vehicle, we need a complete body harness from the front to the tail of the vehicle. It's about $4K for that. Engine wire harness, there's two of them for the left and right, $1,500. Turbo parts, I don't know what I need for the turbo parts just yet. So I put a question mark over there. Engine hoses, $2,000, which is all the little hoses, coolant hoses, pipes, and things like that. I think that's pretty fair. Here's where it gets crazy. All of this added up to $32,150. So we're not too far off from our initial budget. Yes, these parts, like turbo parts, they are gonna go up a little bit because who knows what I need. Example like that, and then rear taillights might be like $1,000 for that. But all of these parts here, the chance of me getting good deals on them is pretty darn high. So it seems like we're in budget, which leads us to the last two parts of this video, which is, should we just do a part search and order all the parts? Or do we really need a parts car to get this burnt Lamborghini back in one piece? I also spoke to a couple people about the twin turbo kit on this car here, and they said that it's probably anywhere from 1250 to about 1500 wheel horsepower, which is absolutely crazy. And if you guys want to experience that with me on the track full day, all included and paid for by me, there's a link down below. Click that link, and not only that, you'll also get your name on the car. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love each and every single one of you guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at BYBTim. The next one is the best one. Peace.